A man wakes up in front of a lake, confused as to how he got there. Thinking back, he remembers riding his scooter behind a track, which was transporting a vending machine. Noticing how the vending machine will fall off of the truck, he speeds up to try and save it from getting smashed to pieces. But this causes him to fail to notice the upcoming curve, and he flies off the road, together with the vending machine. At first he is relieved that he is alive, as he thought that he had died for sure. However, this quickly changes when he notices that he cannot move. As he starts panicking, he hears his own voice echoing out like a pre-recorded message. The nature of the messages makes him realize that he is now in fact a modern vending machine.
Stop it. Get some help.
Which is confirmed when he manages to take a glance in a nearby pool of water, spotting his own reflection. Instead of being upset about his current predicament, he wonders if the gods have blessed him with the chance to become what he adores the most, since he is quite the adoring fan of vending machines. Immediately he proceeds to check what he can do as a vending machine, learning that in addition to the pre-recorded messages used for interacting with customers, he has something called points. Those points can be used for all sorts of things relevant to him, such as switching out or restocking the items he has available for purchase, adjusting their price, heating them up or cooling them down, and so on. He also learns that he can get pretty much any item a modern-day vending machine in Japan would have in stock. But unlike a real vending machine, he does not need electricity to run.
Nice.
Instead, he needs those same points to power himself, and the only way to get them is by selling his stock the usual vending machine way. Considering he is next to a lake in the middle of nowhere, he wonders if anyone is ever going to come his way. And after a whole day passes without a soul in sight, he gets worried that he will run out of points. Just then, a strange frog-like monster jumps out of the lake. This surprises him a little, but considering that he is a vending machine now, he figures he must be in another world. When the monster gets closer, he uses the pre-recorded greeting message, which ends up startling the monster and turning it hostile. It starts attacking him, and he quickly realizes that he has stats similar to those in a video game, of which durability is slowly decreasing with each hit. He learns that if durability reaches 0, he will be completely broken and unusable, but he can spend points to repair himself. Just as he is thinking about what to do, 3 more monsters jump out of the lake and help the first one, ganging up on the vending machine. With his durability rapidly dropping, he frantically explores all of the information available to him, and finds that he can invoke a god's blessing to protect himself with a barrier. While this protects his durability, the barrier ends up consuming his points directly, as the monsters start wailing against it. Luckily for him, they eventually get tired and give up, leaving him with a little bit of points remaining. Worried, he wonders if running out of points will be the same as dying to him now, and he starts hoping that someone who can actually use him will come by soon. A few days pass, and just as he is losing hope, a blonde girl suddenly runs into him. She seems to be very hungry, complaining to herself how she is a horrible hunter, unable to hunt on her own. And now she lost all of her food while running away from monsters. It takes her a moment to realize that there is an out-of-place vending machine in front of her. At first she is confused, unsure why there is such a strange monument by the lake, since she seems to be unfamiliar with the concept of vending machines. This prompts him to speak up, spooking her for a moment when he uses a pre-recorded greeting. She takes a closer look and spots some things inside of the vending machine that have pictures of food on it, so she follows his pre-recorded instructions and inserts a coin into him. This allows him to adapt and acquire a new skill, which gives him the ability to use the currency of this world to gain points. When he uses the new skill, she is able to see all of the prices in her currency. At first she is worried that she might be throwing away money, but the moment she tries out her first purchase, all of her worries are laid to rest. She is immediately taken by the tasty meal and decides to spend a few more coins in order to fill her belly. This makes him happy, as she seems to be enjoying the food she got from him, and in addition to that, she is his first customer, allowing him to replenish some points. With a full belly, she dozes off next to him, so he uses his magic barrier to keep her safe during the night. When she wakes up in the morning, she is grateful to him for the food she was able to get, despite it costing her quite a bit. He responds, thanking her in return with a pre-recorded message, and at that point she realizes that he is in fact sentient. After a few quick prompts, she figures out that he can only say certain things and tells him that she is familiar with someone named Hulami, who creates tools with magic powers inside of them. Wondering if he is one such tool as well, Remembering that she did not introduce herself yet, she gives him her name, Lammy's, coming up with a way for him to respond in order to say yes or no to her prompts. Lammy's manages to hold a short conversation with him. Thanks to that, she learns that he is not here on any mission, and that he is, in fact, quite lonely all on his own. So she offers to bring him back to her town, which he gladly accepts. At first he wonders how she will transport him there, considering he weighs half a ton, so when she casually picks him up he gets quite a shock. It turns out that she has the blessing of might, which allows her to be unreasonably strong. On their way to town, Lammy's gets tired, so she takes a break. In order to give her plenty of nutrients, he uses his points to add some new items into his inventory. They turn out to be quite the hit with Lammy's, who ends up spending a lot more money on them. Once they finally arrive at their destination, the town guards, Karios and Gorth are very happy to see Lammy's unharmed. Since the party she was with returned without her, they were fearing the worst. After they get the pleasantries out of the way, they wonder what this thing is that she brought back with her, and she gives them a quick explanation on how the vending machine works, wondering if it is okay for her to bring him back with her. After pondering for a while, they declare that there are no issues with it, simply stating how any items recovered within the dungeon are free game. Hearing that this is a dungeon confuses him, as he is clearly able to see the sky, but he cannot really ask anything about it in his current state, so the two guards move on to try out his services, buying some snacks and getting quite the surprise at how tasty those are. Before Lammy's moves past the gates, they ask her to bring him back every now and then, as having such tasty snacks would help them out while keeping watch during the night. After promising that she will, Lammy's continues on into the town, but stops soon thereafter, as she spots a little girl in a back alley getting accosted by some ruffians. She jumps in to save her, but fails to land any hits on them. Despite the fact that none of her hits connected, the ruffians get scared by her raw power and run away. Once she confirms that the little girl is okay, she picks the vending machine back up and brings him to the inn where she is staying. The owner of the inn is relieved to see her return unharmed, as is her close friend, Manami, who also works there. Manami tells her that she badmouthed the lousy adventurers who left her behind, making sure that they will never find another job in this town. Lammy's is happy to have such a dedicated friend, and then shows them the vending machine she brought back. At first Manami is worried that it is yet another useless thing she picked up, but when Lammy's tells her how he works and that he saved her when she was in a bind, she relents. After hearing that Lammy's plans to bring him to the surface to see Hulami, Manami wonders if she has the money needed for the transfer circle. But as it turns out, Lammy's lacks the necessary funds, since she spent a lot of her money on buying snacks from him. Manami is quick to offer her work at the inn for the time being, while using the vending machine to attract more guests at the same time. This plan works out even better than expected, as she keeps him in front of the inn during the day, while carrying him to the guard's watchtower during the night. When he hears that the guards are getting tired of the same menu after a couple of days, he decides to spend some of the points to add more items to his stock. The main attraction being the canned odin, which the guards decide to try out, despite it being priced quite a bit higher than the other stuff. They are immediately taken by the tasty, hot and fulfilling meal, which only skyrockets his popularity. Thanks to that, he no longer has to worry about running out of points in the foreseeable future. To make sure he does not get in the way of the inn's business, he does not stock any fulfilling meals during the day, which is when the inn's restaurant does most of its business. Instead, he only helps attract more guests during that time. Lammy's ends up buying a wooden frame, which helps her carry him around so she does not need to use her bear hug technique every time. As she is carrying him one evening, she tells him that she is going to work hard to save up the money she needs to use the transfer circle so she can bring him to Hulami, believing that Hulami will be able to help him talk properly. In addition to that, she figures that calling him he the whole time is going to be weird, so she gives him the name Boxo, which he likes quite a bit. Thus Boxo starts thinking how this new life as a vending machine is not that bad after all.